I mean, I think like everyone else who knows about 9/11, I've been interested in this for at least 8 years. And I just reached a point where my father's a police officer, was a retired police officer, and I found a piece of legislation on the internet on the Terrorism Act, because it seemed common sense to me that if you know, the illegal wars, which Nick Clegg has admitted it's an illegal war, 9/11 is so obviously suspicious. So I thought, well, you know, as a taxpayer, however you pay your taxes, I'm funding the deaths of innocent people around the world and terrorism, which I suspect was committed not by the 19 hijackers. I'm reluctant to say who did it, but I think it's fairly obvious when you think about it. And so I went into my local police station where my father used to work, and the only reason I got past the first hurdle of the front desk is that there was a chap there who worked with my dad, and he said, well, why are you here? And I said, I want to report a crime, and I told him what the crime was, 9/11 and all this stuff, and 7/7, and why? And he said, what does your dad think about this? And I said, well, he's seen it, and he's not happy about the official story either. So they then got this very glamorous police officer down, sat there and questioned me. He didn't take any notes, but I told her what I knew, passed her in the course of the next couple of weeks some evidence, hard copy, etc., and asked her what she'd done with it, and she confirmed it had been passed to Division of Intelligence at Sussex Police. Sometime later, about a year later, somebody knocked on my door, which was TV licensing. I said, look, I'm not paying your licence under Section 15, Article 3 of the Terrorism Act. And they went through the procedure. I got the court summons, went to court. They asked me if I was guilty. I said, no, I'm not guilty of having an appropriate licence, because the licence isn't appropriate, because I'll be funding terrorism, because I know the BBC's covered up the true events of the day. And eventually we arrive here today, and the result has been, I have to say, a fair judge in my opinion, that I have not been convicted. I have no fine, court costs £200, which you guys have very generously donated to, and I have to behave myself and get a TV licence, of course, which I'll be running down the post office tomorrow to buy. But hopefully we've set a little precedent here where it might encourage people to go and do the same thing, and you know, go to their police, tell them about today, give them the evidence. West Sussex Police have said they're investigating it, which they're obliged to do, because the BBC had prior knowledge of a terrorist event, which under, I think it's Section 38 of the Terrorism Act, they should have reported, which they didn't, and they've since given us this impossible flannel about World Trade Center 7 collapsing due to an office fire, which even in the NIST report says fell at free fall speed for 8 floors in 2.5 seconds. Now that is absolutely impossible without a controlled demolition being involved. Absolutely impossible. There's no arguments around it. Don't let anyone else tell you otherwise, because they're saying Isaac Newton is wrong, and he's never been proved wrong. Unfortunately, the court today, the judge didn't let us demonstrate all the evidence. We had some very good witnesses: Tony Farrell, former intelligence officer for South Yorkshire Police; Niels Harrit, eminent scientist from Copenhagen; Ray Savage, former counter-terrorism officer. Who else am I leaving out? Peter Drew, wonderful chap, coordinated the campaign against the BBC, trying to find out about Building 7, which they refused to talk about. Adrian Mallet, former firefighter, engineer. I had a good load of witnesses lined up, but we weren't allowed to present them. That said, the judge has seen the evidence. He said he's seen the evidence, so we now know that for a fact that one judge in this country is very aware of what happened on 9/11, and I have no conviction.
Do you have the judge's name, please?
Judge Stephen Nichols, I believe. I mean, it does come down to a question of morality. And do we fund an organisation that tells us the impossible, that Building 7 fell because of an office fire? And we should stop paying them. Go to your police station, go to your lawyer, wherever you have to go. Go to the police, tell them, Sussex Police has said it's with Division of Intelligence. We'll get it to other Division of Intelligence as well, wherever you live. Get them there and do your best, you know, because it's not an imprisonable offence, TV licensing. and I got the lowest possible punishment today. I didn't get convicted. The judge took the stuff seriously, and so he should, because you can't get any more serious than Isaac Newton. And the BBC have been lying, and if they want to take me to court for saying that they're liars, fine, we'll go back. Right. We'd been through magistrates before. They referred it, because I pled not guilty, they referred it to a district judge. It was a draw.